South Carolina to Baton Rouge, Louisiana for a concert taking place the following night. The current members at the time were Ronnie Van Zant, guitarist Steve Gaines, Alan Collins, and Gary Rossington, drummer Artemis Pyle,
I know like no names,
bassist Leon Wilkeson, and keyboardist Billy Powell. The band also had 3 female backup singers known as the Hawkettes, which included Leslie Hawkins, JoJo Billingsley, and Steve Gaines' sister, Cassie Gaines. Towards the end of their flight, the pilots realized they were running low on fuel and requested permission to land at Macomb-Pike County Airport. However, the aircraft ran out of gas before it could reach the runway.
What? How do you not check this beforehand? Was the pilot on coke too? Probably, right?
And began to fall 6,000 feet out of the sky. The pilots attempted an emergency landing in a heavily forested area 5 miles northeast of Gillsburg, Mississippi, but the plane's landing...
Probably second-hand coke. Just like coke particles in the air on the plane.
Landing gear caught the top of some pine trees, which caused the aircraft to go into a nosedive towards the ground. Singer Ronnie Van Zant, guitarist Steve Gaines, backup vocalist Cassie Gaines, assistant road manager Dean Kilpatrick, pilot Walter McCreary, and co-pilot William Gray were killed on impact. Van Zant died from blunt force trauma. You have been visited by the legendary skip donation. The next video you were about to watch must be skipped or you will be cursed with shit seeds for eternity.
The next one is... Hi Forsen, since Rebecca Black is being DMCA'd, I suggest new Friday song. It's called Friday Night. Check it out. Well, I guess. Sorry. Caused by flying equipment inside the plane. He had a quarter-sized bruise on one of his temples. According to Artemis Pyle, one of the pilots was decapitated. The other 20 passengers on board were all injured. Guitarist Alan Collins suffered 2 cracked vertebrae in his neck, and both Collins and bassist Leon Wilkeson nearly had arms amputated as a result of crash injuries. Wilkeson also suffered severe internal injuries, including a punctured lung, and had most of his teeth knocked out. Gary Rossington suffered broken bones in both of his arms and legs. Backup singer Leslie Hawkins broke her neck in 3 places. Getting teeth knocked out is like, it's such a cringe thing to think about, right? Like when you dream about your teeth falling out and shit, right? Ugh. And received severe lacerations to her face. Keyboardist Bill... It's always like this, when you dream about it, there's always this one tooth that feels loose, and you're like, and in the dream you're thinking, you're already panicking. Wait, you don't have this dream? You don't have the dream where you have like a loose tooth? And then you're like, oh shit, I hope this one doesn't fall out. How do I stop this one from being loose? And then it falls out in the end, and you're like, fuck, now I'll never have any teeth, because in your dreams you don't think about like teeth replacement and such. That just, yeah. Billy Powell. Yeah, some people have it. Some people have it. Almost had his nose torn off and suffered severe lacerations on his face. The crash had taken place at night, and there was no fire due to very little fuel remaining in the plane, which made it difficult. No, that's some fucking, like, psychoanalyzing dreams is such a fucking pseudoscience, dude. It's absolutely terrible. It's probably that you are feeling the teeth or something in your mouth or whatever. It's like dreaming that you shit yourself, but in reality it's just like a fart, and you're like lying in a way that it can't get out during the night, right? Like it's just like related to something on your body. To see the accident 100% of the time. 2 of the band's crew members and drummer Artemis Pyle, who was suffering from several broken ribs, set out to find help for their friends. The 3 stumbled onto a farm. You have no idea what I'm talking about? Farm owned by a man named Johnny Moat, who thought the men were escaped convicts. Sure. At the same moment, Moat gave out a warning to stay back, Artemis Pyle claims he lost his footing and began...
Question mark, question mark, question mark. Imagine not understanding psychoanalysis. Yeah, psychoanalysis, but on dreams? Get the fuck out of here, dude.
...to stumble forward. Shortly after...
You probably have one of those fucking dream catchers above your bed too, right?
Johnny Mote fired a warning shot into the air, and Pyle claims the warning shot struck him in the left shoulder. After the gunshot, Pyle yelled out, "Plane crash." Mote then realized his mistake and set out to help the injured along with Pyle and the 2 crew members. To this day, Mote maintains he did not shoot Artemis Pyle and only fired a warning shot into the air. In a 1997 VH1 documentary, keyboardist Billy Powell claims Cassie Gaines' throat was cut from ear to ear, and that she died in the arms of both Artemis Pyle and Billy Powell.
Right. Horror Story Channel. It's like a news reportage.
Before Pyle left to find help. Multiple band and crew members denied these claims, including Ronnie Van Zant's wife, Judy Van Zant Jeunesse, who posted the autopsy reports of the deceased members on the band's website in 1998, which made no mention of Gaines' throat being cut. The National Transportation Safety Board determines that the probable cause of this accident was fuel exhaustion and total loss of power from both engines due to crew inattention to fuel supply.
Just a bunch of hippies
Contributing to the fuel exhaustion were inadequate flight planning and an engine malfunction of undetermined nature in the right engine, which resulted in higher than normal fuel consumption. The NTSB later stated that they did not believe the engine malfunction was a serious problem or the true cause of the crash. A toxicology report found no signs of drugs or alcohol in either of the pilots. After the crash, the remaining members of Lynyrd Skynyrd disbanded and went their own ways, some forming new bands together. The tragedy had taken a heavy toll on the survivors, and many of them turned to drugs and alcohol to numb their pain.
Turn to drugs or alcohol. Motherfucker, these are rock stars, alright?
On January 29th, 1986, guitarist Alan Collins was involved in a car accident which claimed the life of his girlfriend, Deborah Jean Watts, and left him paralyzed from the waist down, with limited use of his arms and hands. Collins pleaded no contest to vehicular manslaughter, as well as driving under the influence of alcohol. He would never play guitar on stage again. On January 23, 1990, Alan Collins died from chronic pneumonia due to complications caused by paralysis. In 1987, Lynyrd Skynyrd got back together for a reunion tour with Johnny Van Zant, the younger brother of Ronnie Van Zant. However, Ronnie Van Zant's widow, Judy Van Zant Jeunesse, and Steve Gaines' widow, Teresa Gaines Rapp, took the remaining members of Lynyrd Skynyrd to court in 1988 over ownership of the band. Judy Van Zant and Teresa Rapp won, and a contract was put in place stating that the band could only be called Lynyrd Skynyrd if 3 original members were present in the band. Judy Van Zant claims the band members had made a verbal agreement, or a blood oath, not to play under the name Lynyrd Skynyrd again. Judy Van Zant would eventually allow them to tour again without the requirement of 3 original members. But Artemis Pyle left in 1991 and has not rejoined the band due to issues with other members. Judy Van Zant and Teresa Rapp receive about 30% of the band's touring revenue. In the early 90s, Skynyrd guitarist Ed King found bassist Leon...
That interesting, honestly. John Lou, thank you man, sung more zone.